have that running when I get to the meat and potatoes. So, all right, so I'm calling it to order at 6 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I know it's a crazy busy week for folks. So hopefully we do have a lot on here, but a lot of little stuff. So hopefully we'll get through it pretty quickly. I think we got all the visitors identified. And Cindy, once Beth is done, I'm sure you'll still be letting folks in, I'm assuming.
I will, and Ruth, I've got a list, so if we miss anybody, I have them, you have them, so we're good.
I think the only two not identified, we've identified already. So Ruth, you should be good, correct?
Cindy, I just let a few folks in. Sorry, I should have waited for you.
Oh yeah, Mike Keller, Julianne.
Okay. All righty, and I see we're live streaming now. So you're all set,
Yep.
Ruth? Okay. All right, approval of agenda. Everybody should have received a copy of the agenda, or it's in the Dropbox. I need a motion to, are there any additions or edits to the agenda? Start there. None. I need a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Windsor County make a
Lamoille.
motion to approve the agenda as
Wow.
presented.
I'm gonna go with Windsor, and I heard Lamoille. Second. Last call, any changes on the agenda? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, nay? Excellent. All right, secretary's report. We should have two different secretaries' reports. One was the October regular board meeting, and the second one would be the special meeting. So we'll start with the regular October meeting. Are there any edits or corrections to the minutes from October Board of Directors meeting? None? Need a motion to accept the October 2025 Board of Directors meeting minutes?
Windsor County make a motion.
I got Rutland. Second,
Windsor County make second it.
Windsor, thanks. Last call for any corrections to the October minutes? Good? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody opposed, nay? All right, motion carries there. We got the second one, which was the special meeting, which was in November 2025 for the executive committee. No, for the board, the special meeting for the board. Any corrections? I've gone good. I need a motion to accept the November 2025 special meeting.
Lamoille will make that motion.
Memorial, second.
Windsor County second it.
Windsor. Last call for any corrections to the special meeting minutes. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, nay? All right, treasurer's report. Stephen's not on, is he?
No,
Okay, so, all right, so, I am covering tonight for Stephen. So I emailed out the report on Thursday last week. Not gonna pull up the stuff on my screen, but the management report, I did, highlight in the email that the 164K did transfer. So in the management report, if you look at the September number versus the October number, you will see the transfer. You'll see the increase in the board designated accounts, and then you'll see in the club equipment where the money went. So just so you can see that, but in the management report, if you were to compare the September and October reports, that was the 164K that we had talked about last month. So that did transfer and did post into that account. If we look at membership, let me just get my paper here together. Sorry about that. All right, so we did increase the budget by about 12K year over year, but the monthly, because this is the first month of the fiscal year, the monthly number and the year to date number are one and the same, right? Because we only have 1 month in. And we had activity about 121K. You can see if you were to compare, we're almost dollar for dollar. Again, I count the dollars from 2 years ago, matching that, maybe about $8,000 difference there. So we're trending very well. We're definitely dollar for dollar over last year up. And this is the numbers through the end of October. Okay, then we look at income. There was a reduction in the budget, income expectations for this year. Again, this is the first fiscal year or fiscal month of the year of about 371. And primarily that came from the grant money. So last year we had in the Green Mountain National Forest 815K in grant money in that line item, and this year we have 542. So a big chunk of that difference comes right out of the expectation of grants coming in and income this year. Okay. And 89K came in from this year, and 89K for Green Mountain National Forest grant money came in, and 121K came from membership. So that covers about the activity of 243. And for our expenses, the reduction in the budget was about 350K. So again, the grant money comes in and then the grant money goes out. So we reduce the income, so we reduce the expenses. So that's where that bulk of that money is coming from in differentiating last year's budget to this year's budget. We had about 192K in activity, and we paid out the Green Mountain National Forest 87K. So we saw it come in 89K, and we paid out about 87K. I'm rounding numbers here off those reports. So not only did the budget line items impact our expenses and income, so did the actual money activity for Green Mountain National Forest impacted our income and expenses for October. And you're also going to start seeing expenses this time of year related to TMA sales. You're going to see the membership postage go out, increase. That was about 5K for October, credit card fees and things like that. So you'll see that type of activity occur as well. Mark is on here, right, Mark? Mark, can you call, since I did the report? I'm sorry to call on you on this like this. I should have done that ahead of time. But since I did the report, can you call on this?
Sure. So that's the treasurer's report. We'll be looking for a motion to accept.
Essex County will make a motion to accept.
All right, we have a motion from Essex County to accept. Do we have a second?
Lamoille
Windsor
will
County,
second.
We have a motion to accept from Essex County and a second from Lamoille. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Good job, Patty. It's accepted.
Thanks. So sorry, I should have asked you that ahead of time. All righty. All right, now we're getting into the unfinished business portion of it. So is Nate on here?
No,
Oh,
No,
okay.
he may not be on here, but I told him I could give the update for him.
Okay.
So he is starting to put together sort of a request to get an idea of how much a study would be. He realizes that you can't just ask for money, that we want to have a plan presented before we move forward. So he's been working on that. But in the future, he will be glad to join these meetings. He just didn't have, I ran into him Hannaford's or something like that. And we were talking about it, and I said, I'll hop on. I'll be there so I can give that update. He just sort of got things back under control, and back under his, and he'll start working on that. And hopefully we have more for the next meeting.
Any questions to Mark on that? I don't think the questions are really going to come in until we get the cost to do a study.
Right.
All right. The GPS units, I know there's a bunch of stuff in Matt's report on this, but I do see Matt's on here and where Mandy, I'm not sure who's covering that, but if you also look on page 2 in Matt's report, he does cover this pretty detailed.
yeah, so basically, and Matt and Mandy
one.
can talk about this too, but basically we are ready to go with GPS units. We're waiting for one club to get back to us, and if they don't want to partake, then we need to move forward. But we do have the companies in line, and yeah, so that's kind of what we're waiting for. We have one company that's kind of an outlier, but we have one club that has not responded. And other than that, Mandy or Matt?
I'll go. I received a couple updates today. One of the companies is putting together the instructions and everything to send out, and they are preparing the units to be shipped directly to the clubs. So just kind of be on an eye for that. And one of the clubs too just They want to do a Zoom with the clubs that are taking part in the program just to kind of go over everything and do a Q&A with them. So if the clubs who are in the program, if you could just send me like a couple dates and times that you would have availability, that would be great.
For December, you want it? Or like within the next 2 weeks availability? Is that what you're looking for, Mandy?
Yes, please. Thank you, Patty.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
and Matt did a great job actually in his summary. It's MapGears is going to run on a phone. GTS is a hardwired unit and Trail Intel is a tablet unit. Mandy's been working with Verizon for some stuff on a grant that they have to help us out with the pilot as far as equipment goes. Some more to come on that. It also lists in Matt's report the clubs that are part of the pilot. So if you need it for point of reference, they're listed there. And that's what I have on the GPS. Any questions on the GPS stuff for Mandy or Cindy?
No, it's basically one club and one company that we're waiting for. So Woodford and Trail Intel, is that it, Mandy?
I
Yeah.
actually just checked my email before the meeting and he did send me an update. So they are ready to kind of move forwards, but they're in that holding position till that last club submits their.
Okay.
They being Trail Intel or they being the club?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And Woodford, I saw Larry at the Sam show and I thought he had talked to Matt, so I thought they were all set. But if you're waiting on something from Larry, is Carol on here or no? I know she had some things going
No,
on.
yeah,
too.
she just had surgery. No, she's not here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll follow up. We still have time, but it would be nice to have it done so we can get these units in the groomers and get them, tested for the winter. So,
Okay. That'd be good. I think everybody's very anxious to see too how it goes. So,
mhm.
all right. Mandy, the clothing is up next.
Yes, so we are about at the halfway point with our special holiday pre-buy program that we've partnered with Climb. So if you excuse me, if you are interested, make sure you check that out on our website. There is frequent reminders about the program on social media. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. They will all be customized with the Bass logo and they will be shipped to you prior to December 25th. And just working with another local vendor so we can hopefully get the baseball style caps back. So I will keep you all posted.
Anybody have any questions about that stuff? Anybody checked it out?
No, we're also looking at like hoodies and stuff like that, like the regular stuff that we have. But yeah,
Any
good
questions
job,
for Mandy?
Mandy.
Yeah. All right. Water trail, dead end signage, just a reminder, this is also in Matt's report. The notices were sent out October 24th, and as of his report, he's only got 50% of them back, and they are due on Monday, December 1st. So you got 1 week for those clubs impacted there to make sure that comes in, please.
Mandy
All
or
right.
Matt, have you had any updates? You got any more in since I know he's been on vacation? Just so you
Yeah, I
guys
know.
know, this man works 24/7, 7 days a week, except for 2 weeks, which is hunting season, which is now. So usually he's not even here, or he's out hunting. And his son, by the way, got a huge buck. Congratulations, Carson. But Matt, anybody else turn that in or anything we need to know?
Yeah, I know Mandy's been doing a better job keeping track of them while I've been gone, but we have gotten quite a few in that I've seen, and since I did that report, quite a few have come in. So I think we're
Great.
probably more at like 80% now, I would guess, roughly.
Thank you, Matt.
Mandy might be able to better answer that though, honestly.
I can send just a kind of like a reminder out tomorrow and I'll CC the directors for those clubs, just to kind of have that reminder heads up for everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
that'd
you,
be great. If
Mandy.
you could CC me on that as well. Any clubs you're still waiting for, just remind them it's due Monday. And I know with the holiday in the middle of all that, people are going to get sidetracked. Mike?
Yeah, Matt, I have two clubs that have to put those signs up. One is Mount Holly and one is East. And I know you're fussy with those signs after I've seen pictures from last year. Has Mount Holly sent their pictures into you yet? And East, Ed doesn't know how to do it, so Dale is going to work with him from the Mount Holly Club. But I told them to get at least some pictures, some start pictures, and I think Tim Park is going to actually help him too. But have you heard from any of those clubs yet, or Mandy?
So the last I heard from Mount Holly, they'd sent me an email. I checked email like middle of last week, and they'd asked if we'd sent out the agreements and whatnot. And I replied, yes, we had, and I gave them the date. And so I'm wondering if it went to somebody's junk mail or not. I haven't heard. I'm actually sifting through emails right now as I'm on this meeting. Maybe I've heard from them, but I don't think I've heard back from them. So I may just resend those agreements to them.
Please
make
send
sure
it
they-
then. Yeah, send it to Mount Holly and send it again to East to the new email, and I'll work with Ed, make sure he gets at least a set of pictures that you may have to tweak it a little bit. Say move this sign, move that sign, but I want to get it done.
Yeah, and I tried to be pretty specific on the email this year as to where the signs needed to go. But again, I'm armchair quarterbacking it from looking at a map. So when I say, oh, it's got to go between this road and that road, there may be a reason it can't, or it needs to be somewhere else, because I'm not on the ground doing it. So it's, clubs, I do realize the clubs know better. I just want to make sure we have it in plenty of time and we're not, leading somebody right to it and then putting up a sign, where it's too late. So,
Well,
Matt, just make sure that you CC Mike so he knows, and then he can follow up too as director.
got it. Thank you
Mandy's
very
gonna
much,
send them
Matt.
all out.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Did Mandy say she's gonna send out reminders to those clubs we haven't heard back from? So just see, and you're gonna send it to the directors, right, Mandy?
Yes, and I did just want to let you know,
Someone-
Mike, I was getting my list and Mount Holly is all set.
There. Okay. Good. If you could send me that notice again so I could get it to East, that would be helpful. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
I'm just trying to let Matt stay on vacation. Okay. All right. So that's the water trail dead end signage stuff. Just a reminder, if you haven't RSVP'd for the December 15th board meeting, please do so. So the office, Tina specifically, that would be great.
Yeah, she sent an email. The address is on there, so the 911. So she sent an email last week. So please use that to find where we're gonna be.
Yeah, it looks like we got a nice sized crew, so that's
Yeah.
good. Okay. Wyndham County. Okay, this is just a quick update as to where we're going with this. We'll be meeting in person next month, so if we again need anything done in executive session, we can do that. But that landowner trail is definitely closed. They are working a potential reroute. And they're actually sitting at a select board meeting at 7:30 tonight to talk to the town about that piece of property they want to pass through. So we'll see where that goes. And the settlement agreement has been signed by both parties. Cindy, is there anything, and that just happened like Friday or something like that, right? Or pretty
Yeah,
well.
it just happened Friday. And so we will send it all to you guys to, so you have a copy. Yeah, we're just waiting to see, like Patty said, with the landowners, what the agreement is with the town and things like that. But we have a settlement agreement with this landowner. Worst case scenario is the trail will be closed for the winter, which it was 3 or 4 years ago because of logging in a landowner. So it's not the first time this trail has been closed, but I think we should reserve the rest of the conversation for executive session.
I agree. All righty. Just wanted to make sure you guys got an update. Also, I went to the Wyndham County meeting and Ivor is now the new director for Wyndham County. So congratulations, Ivor. He's here anyway every month. So he just has voting privileges now and motion privileges. So, and they did get a VP and an alternate trails coordinator and a secretary. So they got some new folks to help with that team. So I thought it was successful. I thought Ivor and Amber did a nice job running that meeting as well. I don't know, Ivor, anything you want to add or?
No, thank you, Patty.
All righty.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Ivor, and thank you,
Yeah.
Amber.
Yeah, Patty was very helpful with running the meeting.
Or not really.
Not with informing,
I don't
bringing
know.
information to the table.
Yeah.
I don't have, I can't keep my mouth shut, so yeah, I do that, my 10 cents every now and then. But anyway, I thought it was well run, and I thought the folks there were very polite and willing to help. So, just a little bit of a tug, but not bad at all. And so,
Well, I
All
think
right.
the nice thing is that you have the history of being the president of a county as well as vast. And so that brings a lot to the table. And you understand what it takes to run a county meeting in a county and in a club. And I think that brings a lot to it. So thank you, Patty, and thank you,
well, thank
Ivor.
you. And it snowed on my way home.
And she has snow tires now.
And I don't like, I got them the day before, and I don't like driving at night. All right. Rutland County this is part of the special meeting from last month updates. So Mike's gonna just a brief update what's going on with the Best Club first.
Yep. We'll start with, we had our last county meeting, the 18th, and I actually had all 10 clubs in attendance, which was very, very pleasurable. Pretty impressed with that. And I think, Patty, you pied a lot of interest in the county when you attended our meeting, so I want to thank you for that. We sat at the meeting with Andrew. We explained to him what he had to do. He knows what he had to do. He was about halfway done with his homework assignment at that point. He assured us he would have everything done December 1st. I called him this morning, had a chat with him, and asked him if he needed any help. He said he has about 45 minutes of stuff left, so you should be receiving everything this week. And I asked him if he needed help with the Secretary of State getting back into good standing with them, and he said his treasurer's working on that. So I'll call him again in a couple days just to remind him. But I think everything's going as planned. He seems very optimistic. He'll have everything to you in a couple days.
Excellent. Because his due date for that motion was
December
Monday the 1st as well. Yep.
Now,
that'd be on Monday.
I've got a question for any of you people out there that might know. It's hard for me to discern with the IRS website if somebody has an up-to-date W-9. How does anybody know if you have an EIN number? Do you have to update your W-9 every year?
Well, that's a sticky subject, and you should, because we even had a club called into question this past week that didn't have an updated W-9. And so while we don't require annual W-9s, our auditors like them, and it's important because it shows us that they are up to date. So it should be a simple click to send it to us. But it's not 100% required. But if we are, it's requested, then, and we don't have it on file, because of all the grants that we do, then it really should be on file with us.
Okay. I think, was Sheila going to mention? Was Sheila going to chime in on that?
Yeah, I think she was.
Nope, Cindy said it, and that's perfect.
Okay, so that's an easy.
So it's not 100% required, but in order for them to show that they're compliant, they should have it. And it's just one more thing to send to us, which is a pain in the butt, and we realize that. But it's also because of the grants. Like when we do a grant, we have to prove it. And so we give grants out, and so we ask that clubs prove it. So it's not a legal requirement, but we would certainly like them. It's like landowner permission. We want them if we can have them as much as we can because of litigation or laws or whatever.
Okay. I'll be in touch with you and Patty just to fine tune the W-9 stuff so we don't take up any more time of the meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
And I
thank you.
also know, Mike East, you have the same situation, Secretary of State going on there too. So
I've just got a club that's going to need some help. and we'll round up the troops and get things done. I just need to know how to do it. And I'm not
Okay.
an expert at it.
Well, we can help too.
Okay, very good. I'll draw that help from you for sure. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mike? All right, Mike, thank you. All right, trade shows wrapped up, Cindy, so we're complete for the season?
We are complete for the season and everything went great. And we pared it back a little bit this year, reduced some of the people that went, and but got good feedback. And yeah, we're just gonna move
Thank you for
ahead.
everybody who volunteered to cover those for us too.
And we'll talk about next year. Yeah.
All right. And then last item under unfinished business is CMA set. Do you have a question, Stan?
Yeah, it goes to the trade shows. The drawing for the free TMAs, has that been done?
It depends which show.
Well, it'd be the SAM show.
Yeah, so probably not yet,
Okay.
because that was just recent, but the other ones have. So we get all that information back, and then we load it into our database, and then we pull somebody's name. So we haven't yet. No.
Okay.
TMA sales, Patty, everything's good. I sent you guys the report on Friday, and then this morning I looked and we were a little below where we were 2 years ago, and then this afternoon we're ahead. So it's like a pony race at this point, and but we're doing well. We're ahead of last year, and 2 years ago was a banner year. So to be up in that kind of neck of the woods is good, and yeah. We're doing well.
So everybody should have, each of the county directors should have received that report on those TMA sales.
Yeah, on Friday. Yep.
Yep. Excellent. All righty. Grooming log sheets process for the upcoming season. Cindy.
Yeah, so everything's been emailed out to the clubs. Matt and Mandy and Tina have done a lot of work and getting stuff out, especially Matt and Mandy, getting stuff out to the clubs and with instructions on the log sheets and the electronic way to log them. And then we're still working with the companies that will be doing the pilot. So all that went out. If you guys have questions, explicit directions were sent to all the clubs on how to do their grooming log sheets. Mandy or Matt, you guys have anything to add to that?
I just wanted to give a
Go ahead.
reminder that grooming contracts are also due December 1st.
Yep, I got that on here too. So
yeah, that's next.
Yep. Matt has on his report, if anybody needs help, any clubs on how to update the trail conditions or the grooming status for this winter, remember that grooming status has to be manually done this winter, to reach out and they'll try to coordinate something with you. So you may want to talk to your county clubs if anybody needs help with that. Don't wait till the last minute type of situation on that. So he does have that in his report as well.
Yeah, and that was also done last year. Like they've also had to do that manually before, and so they should know how to do it. But if they need more help, for sure.
Every time I post an event, I have to watch the video for the first couple steps because it's so weird that I'm in there. So I know myself, I go to the video even, and I'm in that vast website all the time, but I still have, for that particular segment, I always have to go in there. And how often are we telling folks to send those? And I know it has to do with your payment schedule too. How often do those grooming logs have to be submitted? No matter which way they're submitting them, how often should they be submitted?
Weekly.
Weekly, Matt said.
I know,
Weekly.
I heard that. I was looking to see. Everybody hear that?
Yeah, it's always been that way.
Anybody have any questions on that? I mean, it's just want to make sure nobody falls behind on it. And this is, if they don't groom, do they still have to do a grooming log? This is just Patty trying to educate Patty.
Yes, they should. They should just 000, because it helps with the analysis. It helps them at the end of the season do the analysis. So they really should do the exercise.
Okay. Did everybody
know,
got
it's
that
a lot,
weekly? And then
sorry.
even if they're not grooming, just put a, no grooming this week and submit it for the clubs.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at it, Matt's got to do these reports in June to get them to the state in July. And so if they want to front load by just saying, oh, we didn't groom this week, we didn't groom that week, like that helps us to be able to tabulate that stuff early. So they really should be doing it every week.
Okay. And I
They really
guess that
need
also
to.
prevent him chasing, asking if they groom, because they've already submitted,
Yeah.
we didn't groom.
Yeah,
So
because
it
then we run into the trouble we've run into before. So yeah,
minimizes the chase, I guess, right, Matt?
yeah.
Is it? Anybody have a question for Matt on that or Cindy? I think we've been clear. I think we've covered it the last 3 meetings, so there should be no surprises, right? All right. I have John Hall listed next because I didn't expect you here, Matt, but you are here, and I'm not sure if you want to cover it or not, the language on the, or do you want John to? Or John, do you want to? Or this is the Trails Policy Manual changes, and if you're looking in the Policy Manual, it's the manual page 2, page 17, and page 18. All have red on them. So those 3 pages. And who's gonna take lead?
I can jump in if you want, John, if you want to. Yeah, it's basically cleaning up the language with carrying forward projects because there's been some confusion. There's always been a little confusion here and there, but this year it seemed worse, and I think some of that's to do with clubs having so many flood-related projects the last 2 years because of the July flooding that they couldn't get to like the normal maintenance projects, and it became more of an issue. So I just reading through the language, it's like, well, we could clean it up a bit and make it clearer that when you carry a project forward, it's only for that fiscal year. If it goes beyond that, it really needs to be reapplied for. Number one, because it's really confusing to try to carry funding to different fiscal years, and 2, a lot of times the project scope has changed at that point if it goes a year and a half, and the costs have increased because materials and equipment generally go up, they don't go down. So for those reasons, it really just needs to be reapplied for. And I mean, the club can use the same paperwork. It's a lot of the legwork is done. We just need to reapply. So we clean that up in the policy, and that's all that is in there, is trying to define that more clearly. The Trails Committee was good with it. There was not a lot of discussion with the Trails Committee or anything. So I think a lot of the folks on the board are on the Trails Committee, so it's, they're pretty aware of it. So, probably 60% of the folks are. So
Matt Donovan cleaned it up. He made it very user-friendly in the language and the policy. So on page 2, he talks about when the fiscal year is, when you apply, when you're notified. Talks about the December 15th. So if you apply in June, you get approved in July. If you're not going to finish it in that fall, by December 15, let him know and he'll carry it over. You're still in the same approved fiscal year, and you just got to get it done by September 30th. And he talks about what getting it done means. All invoices and paperwork have to be uploaded using the link, and the trail coordinator has to inspect the project all by 9/30 of the fiscal year that project's approved on. And he also talks about that in here. Well, maybe I saw it in your report that the first 2 digits of the project number identify the project year. So there should be, that shouldn't be confusing to anybody. And then it talks about in section 5, the contract renewal stuff you have here, the hunting season dates as defined by the Vermont Department of Fish and Wildlife. Just you can't go out there until outside of that window of time. And then it just cleaned up the last one, removed Alpine Systems, just out of the language. So anybody have questions? That's very straightforward. So there should be no gray. It should be very easy for a club to follow or for you to relay back to your clubs. Again, that was page 2 had the bulk of that language. Page 17 had the fish and game stuff on it, and then page 18 had the cleanup, just the removal of the Alpine language. Are we good? So this does require a motion from the board. The Trails Committee has already approved this, and so it's up to you guys now. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the updated trail policy language as presented. You're
Connie,
allowed to
make a
comment. 1 second, we got a Mike, you're allowed to comment. You're not, because you're the alternate, you cannot make a motion or vote, but you can comment. Does that help?
It would actually, can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. It would be as a club president comment.
Okay.
Okay.
ahead.
Just one comment. Open season trail closures. Wondering if maybe someone could take kind of a deep dive into the language on that. To give you an idea, it actually mentions vast news. That's how old the language is on it. I get a little nervous sometimes liability wise when there's discussions or talk about a lot of benchmarks and stuff that are really difficult to meet. It actually says if you think the weather over the past several years, how many times using the online conditions manager or whatever, we've opened and closed trails. It actually says in this, I mean, anytime you open and close a trail, even due to weather, you're supposed to be sending a message to the county trail coordinator and to Matt and stuff like that. Countywide, that could be hundreds of times, and I don't think we're really doing it. And that includes, it talks about having mechanisms to, even when you do that, you have to go out intersections and drop trail close signs and things like that. So
Which section are you referring to in the policy, Mike?
F is in
Because
Frank, open season trail closures,
Okay, so that's
21-ish.
Yep, we're not covering that tonight.
Okay.
But if you want to send an email, John Holo and Cindy and I are meeting in a week and a half or something like that to talk about subcommittees. And policy language review will be definitely one of those. So why don't you send that to me and John and Cindy in the meantime, and we'll have that committee look at that particular language. This is only to discuss the 3 sections that were approved by the Trails Committee already.
Okay, I apologize. I wasn't
No,
aware that
no.
it was just those. I thought it was the whole thing in total. But yeah, I'll be glad to do that. And thanks for
We
the
need
time.
we'll need about 3 hours to do that.
Understood. Thanks, everybody. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm glad you're looking through it, but the good stuff for a subcommittee to look at. Are there any, I mean, I should be specific. Are there any questions about the language that's being updated as presented tonight? So I need a motion to accept the proposed language that we just, as presented.
Windsor County make a motion to accept the language as presented in the
Trails
updated trails
policy.
policy manual.
Yep, Windsor.
Lamoille will second that motion.
Well, anybody have any questions or comments about those sections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so I guess you can put that updated version up on the forms page. We're good to go on that. Thank you, everybody. All right, and that was our busiest one. All right, Club Volunteer TMA Excel files. Cindy sent out a reminder today on clubs that didn't send those in. So just my concern is if you have somebody that does family that's receiving a volunteer TMA, they lose that window too if they don't know about it ahead of time before December 15th. So Cindy put that in the message. So as a reminder, it doesn't impact them financially. They can do it. Cindy said they can add people, whenever, but just to make sure that for your volunteers that are impacted by that, just get those names submitted before that date and let them know.
I have
Cindy,
a
you wanna
question
say-
about that,
There you go.
please.
Go ahead.
So let's just say my club is one of the clubs that hasn't submitted their volunteer list yet. Wink, wink. And one of the members that's on that volunteer list has already purchased and received his early bird TMA. How does that work for them?
So they've purchased an early bird, but now they're getting a volunteer and they only have 1 sled.
He has more than 1 sled, but I'm not 100% sure if he has already purchased both of his early birds or only one. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, that what they should do is use their volunteer towards their first and then their others so they can get a family discount. If it's, an outlier, then we could probably help them, but they have to do it before December 15th. We don't want to make this like we're gonna like do it for everybody, but it's kind of a tough one, Dustin. If they've already bought an early bird, then that goes towards their family. Most people know that they can use their volunteer as part of their family purchase.
Okay, yeah, and I think the problem is that this gentleman didn't realize that he was getting a volunteer TMA until just recently. So and it might not even be an issue at all, but I just, while I was messaging him back and forth on Facebook, I said, well, I better ask just to see.
Yeah, it's more of that's why we send it out. Like it's been going out for 2 months. And so, yeah, it's kind of a tough one. I mean, we don't want to turn off volunteers, but it is why Beth started sending them out 2 months ago. So the clubs would start responding early, even though they can add people, anytime. It's really important to get that initial list in, but we also know it's hard because you get new volunteers. So I would just wait and see what happens and then call me if there's an issue.
And if
Okay,
I
thank you.
No problem. Dustin, if I could add to that and just for everybody's information, when a volunteer is applied towards the family rate, just realize it works the same as when you buy a regular, early bird, that there has to be two purchased in the system. So for example, if they have 3 sleds and they get one volunteer, they should get their volunteer and then just get a TMA for one of their sleds. And at that point, the system will know that there's 2 in there and that they're eligible for the family rate for their 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on.
Use your volunteer TMA first if you have 3 or more sleds.
Yep.
And just do one purchase. So it's paid for and in the system in addition to your volunteer.
Right. Thanks, Beth.
All right. Any more questions on that? All right. You got the reports. I already covered the GPS stuff out of Matt's. Just a reminder, Matt, we just covered this in the trails policy. Anybody carrying their project over that was approved in July for this fiscal year should notify Matt by December 15th. I was like, what day is it? If they're going to carry it over, still working it within the same fiscal year. So just we have that December 15th date. The grooming contracts were sent out November 13th. And as of Matt's report, so this is in time, right? Whatever this was state stamp. Maybe Mandy has an update. 36 of the 105 contracts were returned and they are due on Monday the 1st. So you can start sending out the startup payments at the end of that week.
Yep.
Any questions on that? So if you can just make sure everybody's doing that so their startup payments aren't delayed. That'd be great. And this is all in Matt's report. On the grants and aid, and then Mandy already covered the Klein stuff out of her report. So just remember the 12/7 is the deadline for any of that on the Klein stuff. Plus you have the regular clothing. And on page 2, just she's just reminding folks up to 3 weeks on any custom order signs, and the login information is also listed there. So please share that with your clubs if they don't have that in your counties. As a reminder of how to log in, you may just want to do a screenshot of that and send that right out to your clubs. It'd be probably a lot easier. I sent out the committee report summary. Everybody should have received that. Thank you to the committee chairs for sending that. Just saves a half hour on this call going through them all. So everybody should have a summary of all the committees, and some of them provided minutes, which is also in the board packet as well. It's noted on the summary page, so that way you know to go looking for them if they're there. Mike Burns, did you have a question or box just lit up? No? Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else? This gotta be a record.
No, holiday dinner on the 15th of December here in Barry. The address was sent to you last week by office@VTVast, which is Tina. So if you need to Google that and put it in your phone, but yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I put on the bottom of the agenda, happy Thanksgiving, wish everybody is safe. If you're traveling, travel safely. If you're with family and or friends, enjoy. If you're alone, enjoy the solid, quiet time there too. Just lots to be thankful for. And we're thankful to all of you. So enjoy yourself. And if you can take a break over the weekend, try to do that if it's possible. And we will see you in a couple weeks. So it'll come up fast because the 15th is, a little sooner than a month out. So thank you very much. It is 6:45. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That was Pat
That's
Pullen.
Pat. Yeah.
Windsor
Need
County
a
a second.
Windsor
Doug.
County second. And that, what I said, 6:45. Thank you very much, everybody. Be safe. And again, happy Thanksgiving.
Good night. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.